Hey, this is Sam Black with a Dragons of Tarkir sealed deck, preparing for Grand Prix Atlantic City this weekend. Before even sorting my cards, I see I have some sweet rares, but let's sort by rarity to get a better picture. Oh, wow. These rares are great, but all over the place. Let's go back to a general color sort, and then see how my colors look. Let's leave a little more room here. So, highlights. White has a pacifism. I think it just ends up being a blur of words if I read all the cards. I know it might be a little hard to see in the video, but the cards that draw my attention in white are Elite Scale Guard and Pacifism. And then I have some reasonable, solid, good cards that aren't bombs, like Dragon Hunter and Sandcrafter Mage and Misthoof Kieran. Blue, looking similarly, has Slimgar Sorcerer is pretty good, I guess. Blue is not very strong. It's not strong in this set in general, and there's nothing special here outside of Ojutai and Slimgar's command. Black gives me some solid creatures, Corpse Weft, and Rakshasa Gravecaller, Reach of Shadows. Those are really the only exciting cards, and it's pretty low in removal. Red has collateral damage with Dragon Fodder. It kind of gives me a removal spell, I guess. Ire Shaman's great, Bathe in Dragonfire. I like Kelsisma Behemoth and Sprinting Warbrute, and Stormcrag Elemental, but again, pretty lacking in removal. Just the Bathe in Dragonfire and to some extent the collateral damage. Green has a couple of solid creatures, Beastbreakers, Whisper, Temur Sabertooth, Whisperwood Elemental, and Temur War Shaman are the big draws to green, but those are very big draws to green. And then I see that most of my removal is in green-black with these Grim contests. My lands are conducive to splashing red, which in a green-black deck, which is good for Ire Shaman and potentially Stormcrag Elemental or something. Maybe even Bathe in Dragonfire. I would really like to get to use Slimgar's command and Ojutai, but I think that the build I want to start with is green-black. Just pull all of the solid cards. I'm even going to pull Wandering Tomb Shell because of the two Grim contests. Let's get the red in here. Okay, so room to make cuts, and I have some other playables. Play Grave Purge or Hooded Assassin, Tread Upon, Sheltered Area. I like Tread Upon a lot in draft. My teammate Paul Rietzel has suggested that it's notably worse in sealed because everyone has removal, so it's more likely that they can blow you out in combat when you try to use it as a trick. And then you get 2 for 1. And also just more removal means it's harder to, less creature combat in general is happening. So I'm inclined to trust him and err toward trying to avoid mediocre, pump spells like Tread Upon. Also Press the Advantage is a little questionable, especially in a deck that's controlling. That's probably not going to make it. I have no synergies for Conifer Strider, so I think I can safely cut that. This is way too many 5s, and I think this is probably the worst one, although it is good with the Grim contests. Slimgar Butcher is also potentially a card I could cut. I don't actually like 2/2s that much in green-black. I think there's very little chance I'm going to want this Culligan Skirmisher. Beastbreaker is playable because it goes big in the late game, and these morphs are fine. Sorry, this isn't a morph. This is a morph. Whisper of the Wilds is obviously outstanding in this deck. This is also a morph. Let's see. If I play one mountain with Enoch Guide and the 2 lands, I have 4 red sources, which I think is sufficient for 2 morphs and a Bathe in Dragonfire. I like that I have a really high creature count for Corpse Weft. I like Butcher's Glee with all these big guys. Alicia's Vanguard is definitely one of my weaker cards, but it also fills the curve pretty well. Since I don't have a lot of 4-drops and I have a lot of 3-drops and 5-drops. Frontier Mastodon is actually... I have too many 3s and not a ton of Ferocious Enablers. I think this is pretty out of place. So I can comfortably cut that. I suppose Ancestral Statue and Vile Dragonfire are also both playable cards. Both of which would fit reasonably well in this deck. I don't have a lot of 2 or 4 mana plays, which is good for Vile Dragonfire. And Ancestral Statue has synergies with, to some extent, Enoch Guide, but not very much. Irish Shaman and Guardian Shieldbearer. And then Temur War Shaman. Or Rakshasa, Gravecaller, or Silumgar Butcher going longer. This is 23 cards, but despite the Whisper, I think, given this curve, this is an 18-land deck. I think it would be reasonable to cut. I think I like all of these 3-mana spells. So I think my cuts are between Vanguard, Tomb Shell, but I prefer Tomb Shell to Vanguard because of the Grim contests, or the Butcher or the Lurking Erranks. And I think that I am going to go with the Vanguard as the cut. Don't really see a 3/3 doing that much in this deck, and I don't really like dashing. This is a control deck. I don't care a lot about being able to dash it. Just a vanilla body that I don't need. Just do a quick group creatures separately. I know I have plenty of creatures, but just to get a look at my creature curve, and then I just have 3-mana removal spells. This is kind of a 3 or 5 or whatever drop. Solid curve of cards I actually want to play on curve, and then a bunch of good 3-mana spells. This deck looks totally respectable. Good mana. So this is almost certainly what I'm going to submit, but I still have another 10 minutes, so I'm going to do due diligence and look at the rest of my... Is there an undo? Whatever. Grab these, manually put them up here. Alright, great. So I just want to take all my cards, put them in a pile, and put them off to the side somewhere. That didn't grab them all. I grabbed most of them. Nope, I grabbed a few of them. Alright, whatever. I grabbed none of them. Okay, so, let's see if there's something I can do where I get to play these cards with this one, and this, and this, and this. Basically, I'm going to look at white, some combination of white, blue, black. I haven't figured out what the splash is just yet. Probably blue. Plenty of moderate playables. Not gonna want Tomb Shell in this deck. Not gonna want Butcher's Glee in this deck, I think. Corpse Swift is probably fine. Okay, well this curve is atrocious. What if black is my splash? Corpse Raft is a splashable card, but I don't know if my deck is going to look right for it. These are all splashable. I didn't really do anything about my curve, but I do potentially get more cheap cards. I think Beltold Dragon is a lot better in sealed than in draft. I definitely don't love this. What can I do to improve it? I have more 5-drops. I have more 5-drops. I need to add cards. I could play Sidisi's Faithful. Yeah, this deck is miserable. I could play green, white, splash Ojutai. Let's look at that. Alright, well, green gives me a lot of 2-drops and not too many 5-drops. So the curve is a lot more likely to work reasonably here. This needs more cards, but I do have some other playables. Let's see. Ancestral Statue is... Ancestral Statue is quite a bit better in this deck because I have Sandcrafter Mage and the Haven Tacticians and Elite Scale Guard to go with it. The curve isn't quite as bad as it looks because this is a 3-drop. And then I could play Sandstorm Charger or Frontier Mastodon as another 3. I could splash Irish Shaman off Rugged Highlands. I could just play the full red splash. Oh, I'm splashing blue already. Yeah, I can't really do that. I could splash red instead of blue. I get a free source and I get a few more cards. I don't get a Ojutai, but I don't necessarily need a Ojutai. I do have some power. Ojutai is really good though. When would this deck be better? What is this deck giving me that the other deck doesn't have? It gives me pacifism, but it costs 2 Grim Contests. Let's sort by color, and then the green cards are in my deck either way. So what I'm really comparing is this stuff against this stuff. And I have to play some filler with this deck. So here, what are the draws? Mostly it's the removal spells. Like instead of pacifism, I have Bathe, 2 Grim Contests, and a Reach of Shadows. Here I have Flyers. That's the big draw. I get 2 Haven Tacticians, and a Misthoof Kieran, and an Ojutai. whereas here I have none whatsoever. So the time that I'm going to want to become the white deck is basically when flying is important. I don't know exactly when that'll be, but it's potentially one of those and you see it kind of situations. Either my opponent's really good at locking up the ground, or they're good at attacking me with small flyers, and I need flying defense. But as I predicted, I'm going to go with the Jund deck as my default deck. Make sure I haven't lost or changed anything that I didn't mean to. This is right. Do I really have no creatures that cost 3 mana? I guess that makes sense. Yeah, my curve looked like this. Okay. Yeah, alright, let's add some lands. That is way more mountains than I need deck. Is my black much lower than I think? Let's see. TIE Fighter Rat, a Morph, and some late game cards. Wow, my black commitment is not heavy. 6, 7... 8, 9. So this is 3, 7, 9. And I get one more. I could see only playing 7 swamps, but I don't know that I need another mountain or forest. It's weird to be in a spot where I'm a 3-color deck and sealed and feel like my mana is too good. I'm almost tempted to just play a spell in the last slot, but I think my costs are high enough that I want 18 lands. Though I would certainly allow for the possibility that that's wrong. It's possible I should just be playing Vial of Dragonfire even. But I do have mana sinks in Temur Sabertooth and morphing and pumping Beast Breakers, so I think I'm comfortable adding an 18th. And I don't really think I need more forests, so I'm just going to go consistent and add a swamp. And that's my deck.